Casa de Nicaragua. As the name says it's a Nicaraguan cigar. It's a Maduro cigar. It's also much darker than the cigars I usually smoke. You probably saw this cigar in my previous videos. So, today I'll be smoking this cigar. First, I'm gonna cut it. As you can see, a fine cut. And then, of course, I'm gonna toast it and light it. For today's topic, I chose the topic of Stoicism and why I'm a firm believer and follower of the philosophy of Stoicism. So, let me light it first and then I'm gonna continue about the subject. As you can see, a fine burn. Oh, my favorite cigar. So, the reason, or the reasons why I follow the philosophy of Stoicism, are the following. It gives you emotional resilience. By that, I mean it teaches you to manage your emotions through rational thought and focusing on what can be controlled and accepting what cannot be controlled. Like, you can focus on going to work tomorrow. If not by car, then by train. If not by train, then by bike. But you can focus on waking up tomorrow and going to work. What you cannot focus on, or what a fact is that you have to accept, is that if tomorrow a comet hits the city or the place where you live, you can literally do nothing about it. So what's the use of stressing about it? Like, you can do nothing about it. And this is exactly places an emphasis on living a virtuous life following the Stoic philosophy. So, um, the virtuous life, according to Stoicism and also according to me, because I agree with it, includes being honest, just, compassionate, having empathy. Those are the things that are ethically, that causes ethical living, having empathy. So no one can say that there's something wrong with being the best you can be and being a good person. Also, the reason why a lot of people who follow Stoicism tend to be insensitive according to others is that, in my opinion, it gives you a perspective on suffering. So, Stoicism teaches you that suffering is a part of life and can be a source of growth. You can better cope with adversity and reframe hardships as part of growth, because however you turn it in your life, you will lose and you will suffer, and that's just part of life, which you have to accept. People will come, people will go, even people who you want in your life will go one way or the other. And the sooner you accept that that is part of life, the better your life will go. Like, life is not a Disney movie. That's why it's key principle to enjoy the moments you have, but also enjoy, enjoy the good moments you have, but also enjoy the bad moments you have, because for every bad moment should teach you something. Um, for me, being stoic also reduces stress because it puts focus on the present moment. It, my advice for everyone is stop thinking about the past or the future. What's done is done, and what will come is for the day that it will come to think about. Like, there's no reason to stress twice about stuff. That's what I tell my wife all the time. There's no reason to stress about things like, if you have a job application, just it's better to be prepared than to stress about how it will go. And the reason why there is no reason to stress beforehand is because leave the stress for the day itself. Why would you stress now and on the day that you have the job application or talk? You can hear the nature. Same goes, for example, which stress on the day itself. Stressing 5 days prior for every day before it just means that you will stress. Stressing 5 days prior for all the 5 days before. Stressing 5 days prior for all 5 days before you go into the appointment for the hospital results will get you nowhere, and you will only stress 5 times as much instead of just stressing on the day itself. Even though it is hard not to stress when it's about health, wealth, or whatever, you still should try and keep your composure, because if it's good news, you'll be happy and you'll be stressing about nothing. And if it's bad news, you'll just have to have an approach on how to deal with the problem. Stressing will not help you in any way with that. And maybe a last point I would want to say is it's a lot better for your relationships, family relationships, relationship with your girlfriend, wife, kids, work, because of the fact that you focus on the virtues like kindness, fairness, empathy, which will always lead to reducing conflicts. And having good traits does not mean you will never have a bad trait. It just means that you have to put the focus on the good traits. By putting the focus on them, you will automatically use your bad traits less. The smoke output is not so good this time on this cigar. I don't see any holes, so I don't really know why. But it's okay, it's still nice and tasty. I also have a couple of books on Stoicism. And one of those is my favorite. I mean, one of my favorite books, and it's called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It was like one of the last emperors, or not the last, but one of the, how do you say it, one of the last best emperors. The book Meditations is basically his diaries. So when you read the book, you're literally reading a diary of an emperor that lived, I don't know what, like 2000 plus years ago. And a lot of people think that people used to be dumb or only brutes and non-intelligent. But everything we know now is because of the people that lived before us. So you should always think about what you say when you say something like that. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I like it a lot. I've been reading it for like maybe 4 days. I'm already over half the book. It's a very good book. It basically talks about how you can change your habits, especially your bad habits, and how you create good habits. And there are a lot of tips, and he uses a lot of psychological tests that have been performed by doctors and stuff like that, and other authors who specialize in forming habits. And it's basically from the smallest thing, like for an example, if you are a person who buys apples but leaves them in the fridge and wonder why you never eat apples and they always go bad and you have to throw them away. Well, the thing he did to make it a habit to eat apples is to buy a nice bowl, a fruit bowl, and instead of keeping the apples in the fridge, he placed it in the middle of his table, in the middle of his room. So every time he walked in the room, he could not see it. And since then, he ate like 3 to 4 apples a day. So it's a big difference from not eating apples, throwing them away, to eating 3 to 4 apples a day just by making it a habit to put it on the table and making it attractive by letting your eye catch it. And so also a lesson is like make good things visible and make bad things invisible. The ash is going good. I'm gonna let it rest for a bit. Yeah. Basically, that's what it talks about. And also like dopamine rushes that you get. You don't get them after you perform something. You get them before you perform something, while you're at it. So it's like you get a dopamine rush before you open a present or hit the slot in the casino. And like the seeing the gift or winning something, the dopamine rush of that is a lot less than the dopamine rush of before the activity. So you have things like the cue, and I don't really remember. There were 4 things: cue, and then the last thing was like the. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, like the cue, the craving, the reward. No, sorry, the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So I think you get the dopamine rush at the response the most. And it's a very good book, and it's in small chapters. So you read like 4, 5, 6 pages, and then you like leave it a bit and think about it. Because the biggest mistake that people make with self-help books is that they read them in like basically one sitting on like a literature book. You should make notes, or you should read remembers about what you just read. There's no point of reading something good and then forgetting it because you've read 60 pages in one go. Your mind also isn't made to remember 60 pages in one go. So yeah. The ashes are going good in this cigar. Once again, guys, I would like to thank you for listening to my rambling. And I'm gonna be finishing this cigar off by reading a little bit of the book before it gets too dark. And I hope you have a good life. I hope by listening to what I say, you also take some action and have use of it.